You're watching Icenet Pod on Icenet, the Islanders Championship Entertainment Network. And now, the host of Icenet Pod, Stevie Nicks.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Icenet Pod. This is episode 2. I'm Steven Nicoforo, back with my producer, Michael Larkin. Right now, currently, it is Sunday, March 23rd. The New York Islanders have just come off a 4-3 overtime loss to the Calgary Flames. Currently sit 2 back in the wild card chase. Islanders played an okay game yesterday. Not great, not up to the standard that I think I and a lot of the other fans would like. Mike Larkin, did you watch you probably didn't watch the game yesterday, did you?
I'm aware of it. I didn't watch it.
You're aware of it. Okay, so you know that they lost in overtime.
Overtime? Yes, you told me.
Yeah. Nazem Kadri scored 143 into overtime. Flames won 4-3. Islanders, for very briefly, held a 3-2 lead in this game in the third period. I mean, it was for like a minute before Calgary came and tied it. A little bit disappointing effort, sagged in the second period. This was an opportunity for them to possibly get into a playoff spot by Sunday. They didn't do that. So a little bit disappointing with the performance yesterday. It was a day game. It was youth hockey day. There were a number of kids there from various hockey teams and various organizations. Would have been great to get a win for them. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So after a big win on Friday against Montreal, which I was also there for, not quite the same result in overtime this time against Calgary. Calgary is in a similar position that the Islanders are in. They're also fighting for that last wildcard spot in the Western Conference. So you had 2 hungry teams. And you know what? I people are going to maybe say, maybe if Sorokin played, maybe he was the difference. He could have been the difference. But you got to give the guy a day off at some point. And you also have to give Hogberg looks. And you know what? Hogberg, for all of the things that he had to deal with yesterday, didn't look that bad. There were a couple goals that he was screened on. Calgary did a very good job of clogging the front of the net and blocking Hogberg's vision. And unfortunately, that made it very difficult for him. And he had a couple of tricky shots that were screened. I think there was a deflection. I think it was a tying goal deflection. But anyway, there's nothing you can do about those. But he did look pretty good. But it is what it is. Just I would have liked a better effort from the team, honestly. Like the second period, they stunk. I mean, they were outplayed pretty considerably. They tend to sag in the second period. That's been characteristic of them all season. You can't, especially when you're at a home game and it was a pretty. I think it wasn't a sellout. It was close to a sellout. You had to be a good crowd on hand. It's a game you had to have. You can't be playing inconsistent like that. I like the way that they have been playing better, but there are still big stretches where they're playing very inconsistently. And you just can't have that. I mean, you really, I would still like to see them play a little bit better. They're better defensively. It was nice to have Romanov back, having a healthy Pelech. They're starting to look better defensively, but there's still spots where, there's still some things that they could be doing better. And maybe the effort at times isn't as much as it should be. Still a great week. Still amazing that they got back into the hunt. I mean, no one thought that they would be in this spot 2 weeks ago, Mike Larkin. I mean, to be pretty honest with you, they've looked pretty dead in the water 2 weeks, like 14 days ago. No one, and you compare 14 days ago to where they are now, it's been a real turnaround. They've managed to fight and get themselves back into playoff contention, and now playoff spot, is definitely way more within their grasp than it was. And when you consider that this team is doing it, someone else brought this up too. No one is talking about the fact they are doing this after having traded Brock Nelson. They're doing this without Matt Barzal, who knows when he's going to come back. He may be gone for the year. They're keeping it very quiet, and I think the reason they're keeping it very quiet is because it is pretty serious, and they're trying to keep it hush-hush. That's just my feeling. I don't have any inside info on that. I don't have any real knowledge of the situation. That's just based on what I know about Lou, based on what I know about how this organization does things. I feel like they would have said something by now if he was close to being on the road to recovery. And that's I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. There are other people that feel that way too. And that's my hunch. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that's not the case. I hope it is not as serious as it seems, and they're just taking their time with it. But when you consider, they're also doing it without Varlamov, the backup goaltender. That's why Hogberg's had to be thrown in here, because they don't have Varlamov. You consider that they're doing it without those guys, and they've been doing it without basically depleted defense core a lot of the year, and they haven't really had their full roster together really. Well, maybe 10% of the year, maybe if that. At this point, remarkable that they're even doing this well. And so I'm certainly not going to be one to bemoan or anything or poo-poo them, Mike Larkin.
Roses really smell like poo.
Yeah. Look, we have a lot of negative Nancy. Thank you.
Outcast.
Yes. We have a lot of negative Nancy. We have a lot of negative Nancy's in this fan base. And, sometimes, that doesn't always lend itself well to, being, living day to day, letting yourself go negative every time one little thing goes wrong. You're on a roller coaster of emotions. I think it was Elliot Friedman was talking about this too on this podcast. I think he's saying that's no way to live life with Islander fans. Or was it Kyle? I can't remember who said it, but
that was you.
It's true. It's true. You can't live your life on an emotional roller coaster, right, Mike Larkin?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can't be on that roller coaster of love. You can't be on the roller coaster of emotions. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, there's going to be some good days. There's going to be some bad days. There's going to be some wins. There's going to be losses. It is what it is. But you stick through it. That's all the fan base, man.
I mean, our fan base is a little nuts. A little too, I think, over emotional. I mean, there are a lot of wrestling fans, actually. A lot of them are wrestling fans. I mean, they have the same kind of ire or vibe as like the wrestling fan, with that level of intensity, and like every little thing gets like magnified.
Oh yeah.
So and it's right.
Oh,
so,
well, especially in the IWC. Deal. Yeah, especially in the IWC, the Internet Wrestling Community. It's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah. It's the same. It's every little thing is like, you make a mountain out of a molehill sometimes. Some of these people just, they're not happy unless they're complaining, right, Mike Larkin? It's just,
they don't let it flow. First of all, shut up. No, that's not me. That a lot of them.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm not saying.
I don't know what you're saying right now, but I can see the implications of your actions. So, but yes,
implications.
We are no longer friends. Why? You wreck them a laugh. But yes, that is a great, blatant and blunt, honest thing of how wrestling fans are compared to hockey fans. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know if it's all wrestling. All hockey fans, but I know it's Islander fans. I know that. I don't know all fan bases. I don't communicate with every fan base in the league, but I know that this is how Islander fans are, and it's just like they never won. A lot of people never run warm. They either run really hot or really cold, and it's very annoying sometimes. And a lot of them tend to be tending toward the negative, and everything's got to be the end of the world. And I'm so over that at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, as someone who's been to you with many of games with the Islanders as well, I can attest to that. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand with you and a lot of them. So I understand.
Yeah, no, this is how our fan base is, but it's not all bad. A lot of great fans too. We have the best fans in the entire league. So I'm not hating. Mike Larkin is going to stop hating, start participating.
Star. Twinkle, twinkle, baby. Twinkle, twinkle. Let's go, Islanders.
So there's that. So I think right now you have to look forward to Monday night. Monday night you have Columbus, right? Columbus is in town Monday night. They're a team 2 points back of you in the wild card race. This is a 4-point game. You have to have this game. Probably more than every game from this point into the end of the regular season is a big game. But this is definitely a bigger game than the Calgary game because it's in conference. I should also mention the Islanders did get a little bit of help last night from their old friend Brock Nelson and the Colorado Avalanche, defeating Montreal in the shootout. Montreal only gets 1 point, and so they are the current wild card place holder, and they keep the Avalanche keep the Canadians within the distance for the Islanders within a reasonable distance, and so you still go into Monday night with a pretty small gap still there between yourself and the last wild card spot. So you have to kind of really go into Monday like a team on a mission, and really they have to really start stringing wins together. That's the only thing, is that you can look for all the help in the world from other teams. When you're not in a playoff spot, you have to take care of your own business and you have to win hockey games. And so no matter what else happens around them, the focus needs to be on stringing wins together. That's the most important thing right now. So I think Monday night, you're going to probably have Sorokin back in the net. You're probably going to have similar lineup to what you had last game. Really need to get a better effort in there. Really got to play really solid clamp down type of hockey. Make better passes. I thought the passing was very sloppy yesterday. Need to be better. Need to be better all around. Especially if you're going to beat a team like Columbus. I think had a little bit more struggles lately, but they're still playing really good hockey this season. And they're definitely not the Blue Jacket teams that we've been accustomed to knowing in the past, where they were basically a perennial bottom feeder. They're not anymore. They have some skill, they have some talent, and they're definitely motivated, especially after the passing this past offseason of Matthew Gaudreau. They're definitely motivated to get into a playoff spot. They think that they're a team on a mission, they think that they might have a team of destiny thing going on. You need to come to play. You need to come to play Monday night. This is not a joke anymore. Let's really take care of business. I know Patrick Waugh has been a little bit unsatisfied with some of the players. Maybe he's starting to get through to them, although he's not being, I don't see him being overly hard on them right now. I think he's easing up a little bit. I think if we're in the playoff drive, I think he's starting to pull back. The message has been sent, and people get it. The team gets it. I think right now it's just get your shit together, get your stuff together, and let's just go for it. Go, that's playoff drive. Let's just go, baby.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Go.
So, do you have anything to add to that?
Really, all I can say is when it comes to Islanders and it comes to the fan base. Again, there's going to be highs and lows, like we mentioned. The fan base is so extreme, if you will, extreme cheddar, extreme cashier. Rah! Is that a pterodactyl? They can be very extreme, but I think at the end of the day, too, it's much like I'll equate it to wrestling. You have to let everything play out. You have to go into each game. There's going to be wins, there's going to be losses, but you have to look at it like this. It's still consistency. Consistency is key in anything. Just stay consistent. Stay par for the course.
And one loss is not the end of the. See, I don't like these fans that they want to get on the ledge every time there's a loss. It's like I'll never understand rooting for your team to lose, whether we're talking about tanking or we're talking about just wanting a better position in the draft or whatever. I'll never understand rooting for your team to lose. To me, supporting the team always means supporting them and rooting for them to win. But I'm an old-fashioned guy. That's just me.
No, I'll add on. It's like Creed, man. They want to hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge, and I'm thinking.
Some of these people need to get away from the edge, my clock.
I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend.
Okay, Third Eye Blind.
Yes, I had Third Eye Blind and Creed. There you go, man.
So on that note, I did want to bring up something from the hockey archivist community or whatever, the YouTube thing. There was a thing that happened that I wanted to address, and I wanted to bring you on and talk about it because this is about content creation. And you're a fellow content creator. Me and you, it's all about content. I mean, we have so many conversations about what we do off the air about content creation. So I wanted to bring you on because this is actually something that you could probably provide some insight into. So there is a longtime YouTube user that was very good and was an active member of the community and was had some very, very good videos for a long time. In fact, he was on YouTube for about I would say almost from the beginning. He was one of the older members of what we do in our niche community on YouTube. And then all of a sudden, one day, come to find out that all of his videos have been removed by him. Ooh. Now, he had, days upon days upon days of very rare stuff, like hours worth of highlights from the 90s, like incredibly rare stuff, like TSN stuff and like ESPN and like incredibly rare. And what happens sometimes with these, the community, it's communal. So, when you are in a part of something like this, you have an agreement. We have to find, or at least, I've always believed that we have to find footage any way that we can. And it's not about owning the content if that's what this is about. It's not about owning the content because the NHL owns the content. Now, I'm not sure what happened here, but it seems like it's another case of, and people who know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name the name. I don't want to feel like I'm calling anyone out. Trying to be fair and respect this person's privacy because they might have their own reasons for doing it. So I don't want to bring up their name specifically. But people know who I'm talking about if they know the community well enough. So basically what he did was, like, this guy, he spent days of his life, right? Think about it. He spent days of his life, maybe months. Who knows? I mean, there's like months of footage possibly on that channel. So he's basically taking all of the time that he spent working on this channel, building it up for like over a decade, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And basically just decided one day, I'm nuking everything. I'm taking everything away. Now, if the concern, I know this is all I'm going to you in for, my lord. So if the concern is I wasn't comfortable with other people possibly using elements of my content or whatever, if that was the reason you did it, first of all, it was an understanding that the rest of us had, is that was okay, because first of all, nobody owns this content. Okay. The NHL owns this content. People get upset sometimes in this part of the game because they can't get paid directly through the YouTube Partners program for posting this content. Okay. Now, what I do, the way that I've looked at it is, like, I'm perfectly okay with that. I learned a while back that it's really for me now with Icenet, it's in my best interest to not be a part of that, because that's paying for my broadcast rights, my plug, and that's basically allowing the NHL to take that revenue for content that's rightfully theirs, is the equivalent of me paying for rebroadcast rights. And so the way I can get around that is with our sponsorships and our wonderful sponsors. And thank you to National Security Brokerage for being our first sponsor here on Icenet. I want to thank them personally, because it's a big deal for us and it helps us gain more resources and it helps us with media acquisition. And the thing with us is we can find content. I mean, we believe that content should come from anywhere and there should be no source that should be off limits, because the internet is the internet and all the content belongs to the NHL anyway. So again, I don't know the reason specifically why this guy did this. I'm not completely sure. It could be a personal reason. But that being said, I mean, if that was the case, he didn't reach out to any. At least he didn't reach out to me. He didn't really say it. It seemed like he was just having a lot of pent up frustration, and then instead of addressing it directly, he decided, "Screw you guys! I'm just going to nuke everything." And he's like, "Screw you guys! I'm going home." And basically, the channel is there, right? Yep. Right? You know what I'm saying? Right? So the channel is there, but there are no videos on it, and I think that's just such a shame, because it's gonna take a while to get that. We'll get that stuff back eventually, some of it, and some of it is still out there on other channels, but it's going to take a very long time. So I just wanted to get your take on this, because you're a fellow content creator and you're another set of eyes and ears, and so I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Oh, I understand where he's coming from, just, with rights and everything. Like, look, I've always said it like this. With people, if I use footage for my interviews, right, I always ask the person, say, hey, Women of Sparta, I'm interviewing one of your talents. Can I use the clip that you've provided on your YouTube channel or that's on your site? And they'll go, sure. It's only like 30 seconds. Or if I'm using photos from, I'll give you an example. Like if I'm working with an adult star, and I have their photos from the website.
Well, you're working with people personally, like you're working with personal.
I'm getting
like what we're doing is we're working with the NHL. The NHL usually, because it's usually supposed to be understood that the NHL owns that footage. It's not anyone else. No one else can put together a game broadcast and record footage. Like,
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to the point. Hold on,
Okay.
I'm just getting to the point.
All right,
I'm just saying, let me get to the point. Jeez Louise.
Sorry.
That's okay. So, like with that, I would always include it. Same with the LFC stuff, whatever. But the point being is, I understand where he's coming from with the NHL stuff, but also at the same time, too, the internet is the internet, like you mentioned it. You've said it perfectly. Like, we're going to get resources off the internet. It's on the and it's the NHL stuff. So, I mean, I understand what he's doing, but also at the same time, too, that's building up a channel, building up your content. If somebody wants to see that stuff, or if you're introducing a set of eyes from stuff that people may have never seen, that's a great outlet for it and a great platform. So you're kind of desensitizing and devaluing your platform by not having it on there. Yes, you love it, but at the same time, too, somebody else may love it, and you could get a set of eyes on your content. So you're disenfranchising yourself from putting your eyes on it.
Yeah, it hurts the community, right? I mean, ultimately, I mean, it's hurting, and it's also hurting himself because you wasted your life. Now you wasted a part of your life putting all that stuff on there, only to immediately take it off. Like, you know, it just doesn't really seem like it makes sense to me. You know, and this is what happens though with certain people in these types of communities where ego gets in the way, competitiveness gets in the way, and then all of a sudden they reach a certain point, and you know this, you've seen it too. It starts to be all about them. It no longer is about the product. It's all about them, right, Mike Larkin? How many times have we seen it?
I've seen it.
And here we go again, right? I mean, you know.
I know,
because this happens in your neck of the woods too, right? I mean, this is something that over and over.
It's one of those things too where it's a sad thing to say. Like I mentioned for myself, getting photo credit and video credit, but I think with him too as well is he like wants the credit, like courtesy of this channel and stuff. Like I just want the produced by. No, I'm not kidding. The produced by.
Oh, but he never said that.
I know he didn't, but that's the problem. I'm trying to like get into his head. Is the thing. I'm trying to think like how he would think. Trying to analyze, dissect, and decipher the decompartmentalize, if you will.
Trying to start a fire with his thoughts.
No, ma'am. He's just. No, it just means it's all in his head. No, I'm just trying to compartmentalize what he's trying to say. But no, I mean, the channel, it doesn't become about the hockey fans and NHL and the sport and the art form, the craft. We could be here all day with how we want to identify it. It's about him. That you start to become about you. And it's also like derp. I'm like, no, this is from the NHL. This is from them. You're using stuff from the NHL. Again, you have to see the big picture of what you're providing with your channel and the service you're providing instead of just being about you and derp. I'm using this derp. I'm going to get rid of my shit derp. That's what it is.
Yeah. And it's supposed, I mean, for our community, it's supposed to be about preserving and, sharing with the world, right? And you're preserving it. One of the main drivers of Icenet is to preserve this content, improve it, and have it there for prosperity, so that people can continue to experience this later on down the line. That's the whole point of trying to keep these things on there. I mean, that's where we're archivists. Really, that's really what it is. It's not about our own personal glory. It's about the glory of the sport and the nostalgia of the sport. And it's none of this should be about the creators.
No,
none of this should be. The reason why I've never put my name on any of this stuff personally is because, number one, I don't need to, and it's not about me. It's never been about me. My last name is not Icenet. I'm not Icenet. So it's at the end of the day, the sport should be the star. The team should be the star. It should never be about one particular creator. And I know that it's very intoxicating when you get a little bit of fame and you get a little bit of credibility and your numbers start to go up. That pump up those numbers, Mike Larkin.
Pump up the jam and the numbers.
No, you don't. Wolf of Wall Street pump those numbers up.
I'm aware.
You got to pump those numbers up, Mike Larkin. So it's not even about that. It's about preserving something that we all love, and we're all trying to bring new eyeballs to everything, as well as bring the nostalgia for the people who lived through it. and making sure that people are able to remember this stuff properly and experience it again and again and again. And if when people start to lose sight of that and they start to say, oh, well, I want credit and I want to make it all about me, and I have no choice but to ask, well, why did you get into this in the first place? Why did you start posting in the first place if this was how you were going to go about it? That's what, if I maybe would talk to someone like that, that's probably one of the first questions that I would ask. If not the first one, is like, what are you doing here?
What are you doing, buddy?
Hey, well, I'm sorry.
You look stronger. But no, that's the thing too. It's like a lot of people, the common goal is there's so many different outlets that cover the same thing as you, what sets you apart. But at the end of the day, it's a united front of people that come together that want to talk about hockey or wrestling or whatever the fuck they want to talk about. And that's the thing is, it's unity. We're all in the same thing. We're all in the same realm. We all like the same stuff, and we just have different opinions, but it's analysis.
I don't understand. Like, I think it's just because some people don't understand the game as well as others, and you would think that someone who was in it for that long would have a better understanding of. I mean, I hope it's for other reasons that are nothing to do with that, and it's just a personal thing, and it's just a personal choice, and it could be wrong. But I think either way, it's really unfortunate that he came to the conclusion that he had to delete all of his videos. Because I was giving him likes. I was providing, I was putting him videos in my playlist of his. Like, I was trying to help him too. I wasn't just, there's no thieves here. There's no clip thieves because nobody owns the content to begin with. No, so I was trying to be as helpful and encouraging as I can. I left them encouraging comments. I tried to do the best I can. I think ultimately, he had different ideas and decided that this was it, and he was going to blow the whole thing up. I don't agree with that. I think that if he really felt however he felt, okay, walk away from the game, but don't delete your videos, right?
Right. You can still not do YouTube, but you can still keep the videos for people that want to see them. There are people that do that. Sometimes they'll post stuff, they'll take a break, or they don't even bother with YouTube anymore, but their stuff is still there for people to view.
Yeah. And if you don't want to do it anymore, that's perfectly fine. There's plenty of people that just have had enough and they become dead channels, but the content is still there.
Right.
I don't, you're never going to get an argument from me where it's going to make sense to leave YouTube and then delete all your videos on the way out. Unless you really are just so embarrassed of it. But even then, like it should be about archiving and for posterity. It should not be just about you, and that when your time ends, all the content ends also. I don't think that's a very good way to go about it.
No, not at all. I mean, you can talk about someone's mental health. You could talk about someone just, the burnt out, so to speak. But at the same time, too, you can still keep the content for people, even if it's a dead channel. You could still keep the content for people to look up and watch, because at the end of the day, that stuff helps people. It helps people learn. And you're providing a service. There's a big picture, everything, but the service is learning, nostalgia, bringing eyes to it, even if it's dead. So, I mean, you still have a purpose, so to speak, in the community.
And even the community will eventually fill that void. It's not like that void's going to be empty forever. It will move on past him.
Right.
But just, it's that is some rare stuff that he had. And also you just wasted your part of your life. Like, you think that you pulled something over on everyone. It's a very, very short-sighted move, because now all that time that you spent putting that channel together and getting all that footage and posting hours-long videos, which is not an easy process, and it's not a short process. All of that time of your life that you spent has now been wasted. You wasted part of your life that could have been spent doing something else that could have made a real mark on the world. And instead, you did that and you deleted all of it. So a big part of your life has now been in vain. And you have to live with that now for the rest of your life. Those are weeks and months that you will never get back, which is just that's why it's so stupid to me. It's like, you're not getting that time back that you spent. I mean, everyone who creates content, this as well as anyone, is that when you get into this business deep enough, could really start spending a lot of time on it. And it's time of your life that, you only get once. You only get this opportunity once. And so if you're going to spend this much time doing content creation, you might as well let it stick, right? I mean, because at least if you don't want to do it anymore, at least you didn't do it for nothing. Because now it's like you did everything for nothing.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's like you go out there, you do it, you build it for years upon years, and again, hours upon hours. It's time. It's a grind. It's consistency, and it's work. But at the end of the day, too, it's worth it. And unfortunately, he put everything that was worth it into what he did, and now made it feel not worth it, like you mentioned, put it in vain. And it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances. The bottom line.
And you do all that, and just that's what I would ask him. He's like, why did you start this in the first place to begin with? If this was going to be the end result, it's very sad. I mean, honestly, it's very sad because this community, every member that provides something unique and original. I mean, that's really what it's about, is providing clips that are unique and original and haven't really been seen on this platform or any platform before. That's what it's about. And if you weren't interested in just doing that, then what did you come here to do then? That's what's perplexing me, and it's just very, very sad. And even though it could potentially be an opportunity for my channel, I don't want an opportunity like that. I don't want an opportunity because somebody else has decided that they're fed up and they don't want to play anymore. And that's not what I want.
Of course, nobody wants that. And like I said, I mean, it's sad, like we mentioned, but it's also one of those things too, where it's just like, it's stupid to throw stuff away. If it was me, I would have just kept it. But people are going to do what they're going to do, and now we move on and move forward from it.
It's just very, very unfortunate, and I think that you should always be proud of what you post.
Uh-huh.
If you're not proud of what you post, don't post it.
Don't post it. Yeah.
I mean, you should always and then stick by. Have the gumption for, even if things don't work out the way that you planned or that you wanted them to, still stick by your content, because ultimately in this platform, in this niche of what we do, that's the most important thing is the content, and that's everything, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. That's what the focus is supposed to be, not on whatever you want to be, or people aren't paying attention enough to me. People aren't respecting me. And it's like, it's not really about you.
It's about the content.
And we've had conversations like this in the past. We just never had them on air, but this is the perfect time, I think, to do that, because this guy it was a very good channel. It was a very popular channel, but I think he was feeling maybe underappreciated. I don't know for sure. I'm not going to speak for him, but it's just unfortunate.
I think the last thing I'll add to that is, I mean, we all have our anxieties. I myself have had it too, but I think you need to realize, again, I've said it many a times, when you start putting out stuff like this and you start putting out the content, and I'll say this to anybody, it's worth it. You start small, but you get bigger and bigger. We mentioned stay consistent, but people will gravitate. You know what I'm saying? You do this long enough and you continue to go and move forward and put it in, you'll see it. You really do. You just have to keep going. It's like Ice Cube once said, mind right, grind right. We got to keep going. And you have to just keep going.
Yep. Exactly, man. That's exactly what it's about, dog. One last thing. One last segment we'll do, and then we'll end it here. You know who Alex Ovechkin is, right, Mike Larkin?
I do. I'm aware.
Okay. So you're what we would consider a more casual hockey fan than not.
Right.
So you know about Alex Ovechkin chasing Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record, right? You know about the chase for the record?
I'm aware of it, yes.
Okay. How closely are you paying attention to that?
You just told me, so now I'm aware of it.
Wow. You had no idea about this.
No. Well, you just told me now, so now.
This is one of the most thought to be one of the most unbreakable records in all of sports. Wayne Gretzky's all-time NHL record for most goals scored in a career. And I think it's 890, 894, I think, 893, 894. But anyway, he's very close. And the Capitals have 2 games at coming to UBS in April. One on April 6th, and he could be very close to the record around there. I want to just hear your vibe check on this. Like if he becomes close to the record, like is that gonna like create an interest for you? Are you gonna want to watch those games, because this is gonna become like a national sports story when he gets closer and closer to the record? I think he's like 7-8 away right now as we speak.
Well, first off, I of course know who Wayne Gretzky is as well as
I didn't ask you if you knew who Wayne Gretzky
All right.
was.
No, I'll add to your point.
I hope you know who Wayne Gretzky is.
I'm aware. But I look at it like this. Yes, that would absolutely have a vested interest, because you're going to want to see as he's getting close, you want to see how everything turns out. Dude, it's a story. It's all about storytelling. It's like, again, you're working your butt off to get to that record. Are you going to surpass it? You're going to get close, what have you. It's all about the chase, and it's all about the story. So yes, that would have a vested interest for me.
So are you gonna watch him like every game as he gets, like, let's say like takes him a couple games? Are you still gonna watch?
Oh, yeah. You would have to. If I don't watch it full, I'd watch highlights and I watch stuff like that. So you would have.
I'm asking you honestly.
Yes, honestly, yes.
Because I always want to get the pulse of more casual fans. Not that you're not a fan. I'm saying you're just a more casual fan than I am.
I understand.
So I wanted it, it's besides the fact the Capitals are in our division and all that stuff, and could be a possible playoff opponent if you get there.
Right.
There's definitely a lot of interest there. It's definitely it's going to be interesting, and if he is, it's going to be interesting to see the atmosphere on April 6th if he's anywhere near that record by the time the Caps come to town. To Long Island, because certainly that game is going to be probably sold out. They're probably selling out arenas already everywhere that they go just because of him. And it is great for the league. It's great for the NHL. But I'm happy you answered me that way, because it's good to know kind of how the casual fan feels about this. You have to understand like how nobody ever thought anyone would ever break this record in our lifetime.
And I mean, it's stuff like that that's special, and you want to be a part of something special. So yes, even that brings casuals in. Absolutely.
It's going to be very interesting. Pretty much all of their games coming up, the Capitals, are being nationally televised. And I've never heard of anything like this before. And I don't know if you have either. The Capitals receive special permission from the NHL to produce their own broadcast with their own broadcast team and the television network that they usually use, but they're not being aired. Okay. They're creating additional broadcasts for all of these games and they have permission to do this simply for archival purposes, so that the Capitals broadcaster, the longtime broadcaster, Joe Beninati, can be in the booth and get to call if and when he breaks the record, so that the Capitals have a version of that goal with their broadcast team on it. I've never heard about anything like that before. I don't know if you have. That's very, very unique as far as sports media contracts go. But this is really a tribute to Joe Beninati, because he's the longtime voice of the Capitals. He was also the voice of the NHL on Versus way back when we were in high school. He was the national voice of the NHL on cable in this country. And they want him to be on the call no matter what happens for Alex's record-breaking goal. So that's a pretty amazing thing, a pretty amazing story that I came across a couple days ago. Have you ever heard of anything like that, Mike Larkin?
No, but what I do think it's cool, because if you're going to bring the historical elements and make such prestige out of this, you have to bring the voices back. You have to bring everything. It's like in professional wrestling, like when Jim Ross would call the main matches, because when you think of the voice of professional wrestling, you think of JR, Jim Ross. So, it makes sense. It has that historical feel to it and everything. So it works. Everything works, man. It all plans together for the presentation.
By God, stop the damn match.
He's broken in half, Stone Cold. Stone Cold. What?
Yeah. I mean, like they're it's crazy because like they're making a whole game. Like they're bringing in I think they're bringing in like graphics and control. It's like the whole thing just for archival purposes. No one's watching this live. So that's like one of the most insane things I've ever heard. But I think it's also really cool because like it's also a tribute to Alex. It's a tribute to Joe Beninati, and I think it's great that the NHL let them do that. I wonder if like this will set a precedent for other teams, for other moments, if they have like a historical moment like that and it gets picked up by a national broadcast, if they do a similar thing. And it's a very, very interesting thing. It'll be interesting to see. And I'm interested to hear and see and hear what that sounds like. A goal call that was never broadcast. It doesn't happen very often unless you're a guy just recording on a voice recorder in the stands, you know? So that's going to be really, really cool. And hopefully he doesn't do it against the Islanders. That's all I know. So I guess that'll do it for us. This is the Icenet Pod number 2. Thank you all for checking us out. Be sure to like and subscribe to Icenet, Isles Icenet on X, Icenet on YouTube. And Mike Larkin, where can they find you?
So if you want to check out the YouTube, it's Mike Larkin 92. Going to be doing some more stuff there, rebranding a little bit coming soon. You can subscribe. Hit over 1.18 subscribers now, so we're getting up there. It keeps growing. Nice. I appreciate those who subscribe. You could check out This Face and I for the Steve and Mike Show, which will be coming out this week as well, our newest episode. You can check out On the Mic with Mike. You can check out the LFC podcast. You can check out the weekly review, Uncaged. You can check out Pop Culture History, Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. There's a whole shebang. Watch me do my thing. Watch me do my thing. And, of course, SM Show 1 MCL 92. Larkin_92, I'm Larkin MB, Instagram and Twitter, SteveandMikeShow.com, Steve and Mike Show Clips, the YouTube channel, and so much more. Links will be in the description.
And this show is non-exclusive to Icenet. It's also on the S&M Show podcast network. So there's two different outlets you can check us out at. Subscribe to both of them. One is a sports hockey channel. One is less of that, but there's like more pop culture and wrestling for S&M. So if you're into that kind of stuff, definitely give us a check out. We really have to have fun. We have a lot. It's a very, very fun channel over there. Sometimes it gets off the rails, but if you're into that stuff, this is the place for you. So definitely subscribe to all of that. Thank you all for listening. Again, we're in the thick of the playoff hunt, folks. So enjoy it. Enjoy the games. Enjoy, playing meaningful hockey in spring, because it is officially spring now. So we're playing meaningful hockey in spring, and that's where you want to be. So enjoy it, Isles fans. I'll see you at the next one. Thank you, everyone. Mike Larkin. Take us out, Mike Larkin.
Thank you all very much for listening to another edition of Icenet Pod. We will see you in episode 3.
Thanks, guys.
Icenet. Dynasties live here.